Hello, everyone in the SHL universe. Welcome to our third episode of the J Tonight. I do want to apologize. I was trying to get this on at 9 p.m., but I had family coming from out of town and wanted to spend time with them before coming on and doing this. So I do apologize, but we did hit the 9 p.m. mark, just Central Time and not Eastern Standard Time. So I apologize. Hey, Toaster, how's your week going?
It's going great. I'm glad it's over.
Glad it's over.
Glad we're here. Glad we're to the weekend. How's your week?
Yeah, we are. It's been good. It's been very, very busy, but I can't complain. I've had a good week, so I take the good more than the bad. So, and I'm like I said, I just got to spend a lot of time with family, so I'm not complaining about that at all. It was a good dinner.
Always good.
So tonight we will actually be having our first guest. If you read the title of the show, you'll see who it is. We're very excited to have him on. This won't be our first interview because Toaster and I had to go through one. I went through three during this whole process of getting the J Tonight started. So hopefully, but I'm excited that now we actually get to bring on a guest and share some really good data with you that has been brought up. As always, we have our trivia question today. So today's trivia question's a little. You're gonna have to dig a little bit. It's not a lot. If you know anything about me and Toaster, it's pretty easy to find. So today's trivia question, I'm gonna put it across the bottom of the board. let me change up the media aspect. I just noticed which one I had going. There we go. We are the
Oh,
J
that's
tonight, not the SHL tonight.
That's better.
Kind of messed up that already. So we are going to put up this trivia question, and the trivia question is: if Toaster and I were in the season 20 J draft and stayed at the picks that we were picked in our draft in season 81, which team would we be playing for? So I'm going to go ahead and add the banner and have it scroll across. The first one to get it will get 100,000 SHL bucks to buy a Ruby pack. It's a little bit of digging, but it should be easy enough. I've given you a ton of clues in there.
Oh,
Oh
you
my
might want
gosh.
to change the scroll before
I
someone
just
looks at it.
saw it, so I even gave you the answer. This is the Jade and Night Midnight Edition where Patrick is losing his mind. All right.
Hopefully no one saw that.
All right, so the trivia question is there. Do not rewind the video and watch. Just act like you did not see that.
Make
So
your best educated guess as to what it could be.
that has been my week in a nutshell right there. Just absolute craziness. So, well, we are down to one last week in the regular season before the playoffs start. The trade deadline is coming upon us, which will signify the start of the season 84 class that will be starting in the J next season. Me and Toaster are both in war rooms. Toaster is now a co-GM, so he's going to have a little bit more work on him than I do. What are you looking forward to this offseason, Toaster?
Ooh, sorry. I'm choking on my own spit like a professional human. Goodness. I'm just excited to see more of the background of the league as a co-GM. I scouting last season, and that was a blast, getting to know some of the first gens coming into the league. But just getting to see that other side of things from the GM perspective is what I'm most excited for.
Yep, that is what I always enjoy the scouting. I think we'll be kind of doing. I'll be doing both the J and the SHL scouting coming up. So meeting new players coming into the league and kind of seeing what they're excited about. That is what I'm always looking forward to. Is kind of getting those players, picking their brains, seeing what they have going. So
it seems like just a couple weeks ago we were in those same shoes.
Yeah, and it really did. I mean, the seasons seemed to fly by.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that we're in week 3 already, it's really flown by this season. I think I'm looking at the same thing. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm looking at the same thing that happened last year. If Anchorage has an early exit, that the off season is so long when it happens. And so that's always tough. So, I'll be very busy this off season, so I think that's going to help. Be having the SHL expansion draft coming and helping with that as head office, then the SHL draft as well. Which who knows? We may be having something to do with the SHL expansion draft if everything works out the way that we're hoping it works out.
Time will tell.
It's going to be a very exciting off season. A lot of stuff going on with expansion on the SHL side, and then getting more and more players. OP Squid said, "Don't worry, each season you're here feels shorter and shorter." And yes, that is very true. That is very true. Please post questions, any comments, or anything like that in the comment section, so we can get this going. All right, so like we always start off with, let's do a week in the J recap. We're doing power rankings. I will apologize if these numbers should be correct. I was working on them as soon as I got home. I had the base layout of the power rankings going. I think the order changes slightly at the bottom, but we will get into that here as soon as I put it up. So let's go ahead and switch. I'm sorry, Kari, but at least you get to see us and get ready for bed at the same time. So
You can listen to our sweet voices. You fall asleep.
well, I'll just have Toaster talk, and that should serenade you.
Yeah, it'll be boring enough for you to fall asleep too.
All right, let's scroll down. Make sure we're not doing the SHL. And boom, there we are. And now we're going to share my screen. Here are your Week 3 power rankings. Here they are. 3 more clicks to get to them.
There they are.
So, first off, honestly, without any doubt at all, even though this last sim kind of changed it a little bit, you'll see St. Louis Scarecrows coming in at the top of the power rankings. They're still sitting at the top of the J standings. Overall, they're just absolutely running away with the season. They're sitting at, this week they went 12-3. They got 61. They scored 61 goals, had 40 goals against scored. They're sitting at on the season 800 point percentage, and on the week they had a 800 point per game, 800 point percentage as well. Plus 21 on the goals. Just now, I will say one of those 3 losses came to you via Anchorage. That's probably the highlight of
with Patrick Rail as the first star.
Yeah, I came out ready to play that time.
You can thank the Grizzlies. They're tiring us out.
We're not gonna give you nightmares, Kari. Cammy said, just say Nash every few minutes. Nash. And see. All right, coming in at number 2. And Toaster disagreed with me last week. Do you disagree with me this week?
Nope.
Great Falls Grizzlies.
Yep,
I may have been early last week on it, but they have kept going. They were sitting at 6th place last week, and now they're sitting at 3rd place with 2 games in hand and only 3 points behind Kelowna. They went 14-5 on the week with 71 goals scored, 42 against, with a 20 plus 29 goal difference. Their overall points per game or point percentage is sitting at, hang on just a second, let me get that math going, 0.736 on the week on their point percentage. So just an absolute killer week by the Great Falls Grizzlies. They've marched up the standings, just doing a great job. It was very easy to put them at 2nd this week. I did not have a doubt about it when I put them up there.
They beat some more quality teams this week, which was my knack on them last week. But
yeah,
definitely deserved to be here this week. Wins over
they
Quebec, Carolina.
They did struggle against St. Louis. You know, that kind of harmed
that
them.
game was close until the end.
It was a very good game. I was happy that was the live sim game yesterday.
Yep.
But you know, just overall, I knew where you were coming from last week, and honestly, if you pushed hard enough, I would say that I probably jumped the gun, but they proved me right.
Yeah, they deserve it this time.
Just overall proved me right. Coming in at 3 is the Kelowna Knights. They went 12-3-2 on the week. 57 goals for, 39 against, with a plus 18 on that. They are sitting in 2nd, coming back from 4th last week. So they moved up the board 2 spots this week. They were completely off the power rankings last week, and came rolling right back up. Really great week for them. I still see them struggling a little bit more than they should, personally. But
a lot of close games.
Yeah, a ton of close games. So that part's a little bit concerning, but on the week they had a .764 point percentage in their games. So just ran through them. I know they ran through Anchorage, unfortunately, but
Anchorage did beat them once though.
yeah, we have beat them once. But this past sim, I think they beat us 6-0. So I haven't been able to look at all the scores from that sim. Now this is where
did run through San Diego with a score of 12-1.
Yep.
Ugh.
And so now at the bottom, honestly, I would flip Ottawa and Carolina. I had set this up before I went out to dinner tonight, just so I had it ready to go, and then literally got home 15 minutes ago and didn't have enough time to rearrange the logos. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Carolina is the fourth on the power rankings this week. They went 10-7-1 with 67 goals for, 61 against on a +6 goal differential. They were sitting at second place last week. They dropped down to fourth place this week. They are 2 points behind Great Falls, both at 50 games played. And they are 5 points behind Kelowna, but Kelowna's played 52. So it's not unheard of that they'd be able to get back up to that second spot.
Still a very close race there.
Yeah, and I mean they've played some really good games. They've lost some questionable games as well, but overall, I think fourth fits them. I know it says fifth. Please understand that before this, they were fifth based off of it, but they've dropped down.
Traded wins with St. Louis. Let's see.
They will be on soon. 01. They will be on soon. I promise. And they also say hi, and they say hi to us.
Oh, hi.
And so finally, rounding out the 5, even though they're listed at 4, is Ottawa. They went 9-8 on the week. Not a great record. They were sitting at, what really made me look at Ottawa, they were sitting at 13th last week, and they moved up 3 spots to 10. So they're climbing up. They got back to 500 hockey. Yep. So they're making the right movement forward. But I think at the end of the day, I will be honest, and we kind of had that talk in the Discord. It's really hard to get to that 5th team, no matter who we're picking, because a lot of teams had pretty much the same sim record this week. As of yesterday, again, I didn't look at tonight's games. I didn't have time, so don't come at me saying, hey, you're wrong, because I might be wrong. But as of me writing this morning, and also give a shout out to Shawnee for helping us with this as well. They, every other team is pretty much at that 500, around the 500 point percentage. So if you want to debate me and say Ottawa shouldn't be 5th, that's fine. I'll probably back off that hill pretty quick, but they're there.
You've got your capital P power rankings for the top 3, and then everyone else.
I like the way you said it best. You said you have the power rankings at the top and the lukewarm ratings at the bottom, which is really, really, really a good point on it, because it does kind of dwindle down pretty quickly right off. Now, I will like to say, I'm hoping that this was his comment on. That might have not been his comment on the. Hang on, let me look before I speak. So Nevada did go 8-8 and 8-8-0. So they had a 500 week. Going into today, they were sitting at 8-7, so it was kind of their first positive week sim. But Nevada is slowly climbing up.
Yeah.
They've passed Anchorage, so they're coming in at 14th now instead of 15th. But it was a positive week for Nevada. So go
Slight
into
positive
real.
there.
Toaster, do you have any rankings that, or any comments on that? Anything that stands out on the week for you?
I think we pretty much covered it. Kind of interesting to see that there's only really 3 top teams of the week. Where's everybody else?
Yeah. I don't hate you, Kari. I don't hate you at all. I was waiting for my screen to update so that I could share this tab now. So we're gonna go into leaders. The index is slowly rolling for me right now. So leading on goals, I'm gonna do a quick rundown of top 5. We have Mel Gula sitting with 41 goals out of Kelowna. Bugan McGillicuddy with 37 goals out of St. Louis. Kim Chauwan out of Carolina with 35 goals. Dirk Deinhardt with 31 goals out of Kelowna. And Cutter Guthier with 30 goals out of Kelowna. Over on assists, Colton Paragecko sitting with 47 assists. Dirk Deinhardt sitting with 44. David Corrigan sitting with 43. All 3 of them out of Kelowna. Swiffer Sweeper, Toaster's teammate, sitting with 42. And Chris Gaines out of Kelowna with 41. So Kelowna still sticking to the top of that leaderboard on assists.
Little scarecrow infiltrating the numbers.
Moving on to points, Mel Gula sitting with 76 points on the season out of Kelowna. Dirk Deinhardt out of Kelowna was 75, just right on him. Kim Chauwan out of Carolina was 69. And out of 69, Swiffer Sweeper out of St. Louis was 62. And David Corrigan was 62 out of Kelowna, both tied for 4th. Plus minus, St. Louis has taken this over last week, and they're still keeping it. Bugan McGillicuddy with 41 as a positive 41 out of St. Louis. Chris Gaines out of Kelowna with a positive 40, tied with Rondalis Ringo Ramont out of St. Louis for 40.
Rookie.
Mel Gula with 36 out of Kelowna, and Chuggle Down Bim out of St. Louis with 36. So you're seeing the 2 main teams on the plus minus here. And Kelowna wants us to know that Colton Paragecko is a defenseman with 47 assists. So very impressive.
Impressive.
Going down through, you guys can see the stats. I'm just going to start going with top ones. Leading the league in shots is Dirk Deinhardt with 208 shots. Shooting percentage leader is Beignet Jean-Luc Bouchard with 30.49% out of the Thunder Bay Walleye. Zach Peters out of St. Louis, leading the league in hits with 208. Lou Logsky with 3 fight wins out of Detroit. Penalty minutes, Joshua Hardy out of Newfoundland with 55 shots blocked. John Bond with 142 out of St. Louis. Power play goals, Lucas Lindberg with 12. I'm sitting down there in 6, so I'll throw myself in there.
Yeah, there you go.
And Carolina name game sitting first in short-handed goals with 4, tied with Chris Gaines out of Kelowna. Now that I know that it's all Carolina players, I'm just going to call him Carolina name game because I won't try like Ace tried last night.
Alphabet soup. Throw them in there.
Exactly. Goalies. Leading the league in wins right now is Timo Järvinen with 30 out of St. Louis. Yuri Satoshi out of Kelowna with 25. Ebby Bornier with 24 out with Yukon, tied with Newfoundland's KJ Daniels with 24. And Matty Brynjarsen with 22 out of Great Falls. Leading the league in losses is not 0-1.
0-1
It
is
is
devastated right now.
It is Jack Ryan coming in first out of Thunder Bay. Johnny Hockey, who had such a great season last year, and now he is just absolutely hating this season with 23 out of Anchorage. John Gibson, and it's not Johnny's fault. It is our fault. John Gibson out of Detroit with 22 sitting third. I'm sorry, 0-1. Claude Lancaster out of Nevada and KJ Daniels out of Newfoundland sitting at 21. Florence Amelia McKenzie leads the league in overtime losses with 5. I don't know if that should be celebrated. Goals against, KJ Daniels with 188 out of Newfoundland. Jack Ryan out of Thunder Bay with 175. John Gibson out of Detroit, 144. Claude Lancaster out of Nevada sitting in fourth with 137. And Ebby Bjorner with 132 out of Yukon sitting in fifth. Going down, goals against average. I'll kind of do the top 5 on this one because this is a big one. Andrew Drewski with 2.39 goals against average out of St. Louis. Matty Brynjarson with 2.49 out of Great Falls. Victor Bjork Pelika with 2.75. I don't know if that's showing up right because Travis Coates is sitting fourth. Okay, I see it now. Travis Coates sitting fourth at 2.76 out of Maine, and then Tyler Bodega sitting at 2.86 out of Great Falls. Goals saved against average. Travis Coates is leading the league with 26 saves above average.
Almost 6 more than second place. That is.
Yes, just absolutely. And double everybody else.
Yeah.
Just at minimum, double everybody else. KJ Daniels sitting at first in saves with a 1,441 out of Newfoundland. Save percentage, of course, it's going to be Travis Coates with 0.913 out of Maine. Victor Bjork Pedlika sitting at 9.908 as well. Leading the league, tied for shutouts, Mr. Kick Save with 3 out of Colorado, and George Dansk out of Maine with 3. Games played, KJ Daniels playing 48 games so far this season out of Newfoundland's. I think they're at 52, if I'm not mistaken.
Poor guy needs a break.
Just running him into the ground coming in. Anything on the leaderboard that you see that you'd like to talk about, Toaster?
Just going back to that goals saved above average. Looking like our power rankings where you got the top 2 and then everybody else.
So we'll go ahead and wrap up this segment. Please, if you have any comments on the stats, anything you'd like us to look at later on the show, please share. And also coming up on this next segment, like I said, we are having our first guest. We tried to talk about it last week, and it was just more that we didn't really have the ability to talk about and weren't completely prepared to talk about. We got a lot of great feedback in the comments about it, a lot of help in the comments, and then somebody messaged me right the next morning with a really great write-up on what they thought was going on. And not only that, but also had stats to prove. You've seen this guest on the award show. They have done many things throughout the league. Their current player is Twinkle Toes with the Detroit Falcons. So without any further ado, let me bring on Cammy. Let me stop sharing this. There we go. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Honestly, you guys were really close. I would have thought the same thing just looking at that one stat. Is only because I look at a lot of other things that I noticed that, hey, maybe something's off. And I didn't message you right away because it's better to go and find out why and how and that's really happening than just being like, oh, you're wrong and being a keyboard warrior, right? So
Exactly.
I try to do that really respectfully because I do love the show and I love what you guys are doing. I love more eyes and more stuff on the J. So you were right. Goalie save percentage is down. It's down by over 1% since last year. Like 1.4 or something. It's pretty crazy. But the goals are the similar. So shots are down. Shots are down about 8 shots a game, or shots per team. So if you could bring up, I know
Yep,
you're working on it right now.
I appreciate you stalling because
I could stall more.
it's
and
nope,
stuff.
you're
And I've
good.
been
We
working on
are
a lot of models and
So-
stuff. Because with this new shot quality thing, and maybe I'll talk to shot quality too. So if you're shooting downwards, there's an area around the net, and that is shot quality 3. The center of the ice, that's a little bigger than that, is shot quality 2. And everything else in the offensive zone is shot quality 1. And anything 2 or better is considered a scoring chance. So these obviously have a better chance of going in. So what FHM 10 has done is introduce this, and now we can actually see it. Luke did a great post. I will post the link when I have time into the chat, because I did reference his post on shot quality to help describe it. But so here you can see there's the average line, and you can see the last 4 seasons pretty consistent, honestly, which is surprising, but not that surprising because 66 games per team and stuff. But yeah, a market drop of 1.1%.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it seems like such a small percentage, but that's such a huge percentage.
It's not. It's like what is it? Like 11% drop, or not 11%? It's do it off the top of my head, 8, 10. Yeah, about a 2-3% drop. I can't remember.
Yep.
I had it done at some point.
And,
If
and
you go
on
to the
yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the next one. This is the correct. Just make sure these are in correct order because they did come over labeled in the images you told me, and I saved them that way.
Yeah, you bet.
If they're not, just tell me.
I was like, I didn't want to name them anything like funny or actually what they are because I'm like, let's just get the order right.
Well,
here's. Sorry.
You know, Discord loves to change the order of what you send.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. And as you can see here, goals are pretty average. They're a little down, but not as bad as season 78, for example. So I don't think we can attribute goal amount to FHM 10 yet. It could be possible over a long stretch of years, like this could be an outlier year, for example, and goals could come down or could go up. But we're going to need more seasons to determine that. But for this season, goals aren't up, but save percentage is definitely down.
I remember when they were doing the testing for FHM 10, and you may know the numbers better than I do on that, but I remember them talking about the goal amount going down in their sims.
I remember them talking about that, but I wasn't involved with that. So that was definitely HO thing, and they got everybody doing the big work in the back. I'm just a guy that goes and steals all the work and puts up pretty graphs.
Yeah, so I remember that, and then when you sent me this image, I think that it's around pretty much what their testing was actually showing on the drops, because I think that it was around the same. I think the drop was around this the point 1 or something, but they did say that the goals did go down in their test, and then the first couple of weeks of sim, everybody was pretty much panicking because we did have some big blowouts that I think fed into it a little bit more than necessary. But I'll go to the next slide for you. Is that the right one?
Yeah. So here's the shot averages. And you can see right here, like down like 4 shots, and it's not close. The average, funnily enough, over the last 4 years is exactly 35.0000 something. It's super close, which is weird for data of this size, but it happens. But yeah, it's down about 4 shots per game, and this is per team. So, sorry, I said per game. It should be per team per game. So every game is actually down 8 shots. And I've noticed this when looking at the games from this season versus last season. Last season, some leagues would have like ridiculous amounts of shots. That seems to be reined in a bit.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that sometimes it's harder to see this number of how? It is drastically down, but when you're first looking at the box score, especially early in the season before the shot quality data came in. But even now, it still counts a lot of the block shots. In a weird,
block shots is kind of weird, and I have my own ideas about that, and I do want to look into it because block shots kind of messes with a lot. But yeah.
So I think that sometimes when you're watching the live sim games, and the first number that pops out is like 75 shots, and then you go through and you look at the actual shot attempts that are listed. It's a completely different number than 75. It's usually like 30, 32 or something. But that 75 sticks in your head immediately going, man, there's 75 shots in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the shot records, and I think the highest right now, 3 weeks through this season's 208, and the records are all 330 or above. So they're definitely noticeably down too there.
Yeah. What Patrick just brought up for us is I did crunch the data on every goal event in the J, and then I correlated that to what quality shot it was. And then I said, well, how many goals are basically shot quality 1 goals, and then divided by the total shot quality 1 attempts. This is pretty rough because if there's a block shot, it goes down 1 in the quality bar. So a shot quality 1 from me on the point goes down to a 0. It got blocked from the point. It was never going to go in anyways. But for like 1 and 2s, there's going to be block shots somewhere in there. I'm hoping that the volume of the data is going to kind of correct for that, and it's going to be just small noise. I've done this chart for the SHL as well, so I can tell you 2 things right away that match identically, and that is shot quality 1 percentage going in and shot quality 2 percentage going in, and it's close. It's really close. So I'm pretty confident that's the real numbers overall. Now you'll have games that are blowouts because like it's a random engine. It's going to just decide. I think the biggest surprise for me on this one was that shot quality 4 is lower than shot quality 3. It's made a rebound this week a bit, but it's still lower than I would expect because this is a rebound or rush chance right close, and it's worse in the J somehow. In the SHL, it's about even. As of 3 days ago, I haven't updated my data for them yet. I've been working on this. So, like, if you're a GM, shot quality 3 and 4, if you can do it somehow. I don't know how. I'm not a tactician, right? But that's what they do it. Shot quality 4. I saw the question.
Okay. I was gonna put it back up there for you.
You betcha. Is right around the net, a little tiny area around the net, and it's either a rebound or a rush chance, and they qualify a rush chance as entering the zone within the last 4 seconds. So I wonder about the J is if it's slower, but like then it's not a shot quality 4. So I don't know why. I'm got to do a lot more digging, and probably need a lot more data, and probably might need a few seasons to figure out what this is combined with the SHL, or somebody might also have a great idea that I'm just not missing, or I'm missing. So.
No, I absolutely, like I said, as soon as I read your message that next morning, I think I immediately said, I want to get you on the show. Like, I want you to break this down for the viewers, give them this more information.
I can give you some pretty cool values too. So if we take a shot quality 1 value as 1, 1 shot quality 2 is worth 3 shot quality 1s. Shot quality 3s are worth almost 6 shot quality 1s.
Oh, wow.
And then shot quality 4 drops down to about 5 in the J right now.
Oh, okay.
So just for a heads up, when you do look at those box scores, you got to use those numbers kind of roughly in your head. It's bounced around a bit for 3 and 4. So I'm going to release a big media piece at the end of the season, and with all this updated and solidified, and it's bedtime here.
Yep. I know.
Just completely distracted me. Lost the train. But I'm going to do a big media piece and combine a lot of these things, and hopefully improves our understanding of HFM 10 and these new features that we have and how to better optimize them.
Yeah, absolutely. if anybody has questions for Cammy, please post them in the chat. Kari said, "Hi, child behind Cammy." I think we were both laughing at that when it popped up, and then a cute little intruder by OVOXO. It's funny that happened to you because our first episode, if you watch closely, you'll see my kids running to jump on the back of the couch as I'm like in the middle of talking about something, and I'm like, all right, well, just do it anyways.
I was hoping the
We're real
background was
people.
baby, and it didn't because he was like, "Go to bed, buddy."
Yeah. Mine will sometimes sit right next to me and watch the show as I'm doing, and I'm like, oh, this isn't uncomfortable or anything. So you have
live
one more
audience to
graph.
whole new meaning.
Yep. Need to get them the tablets to watch us on YouTube. Get those or Twitch. Get those ratings up.
Get the viewers in.
So you go ahead.
Sorry. You just brought up the model, and this is what I'm more excited about. This is what I'm working on right now, is trying to find, like, if shot quality can actually say a deservometer. I don't know if you follow the NHL, but there's a website called the Deservometer, and it runs it like 1,000 times. It says and shows you whether or not your team deserved to win. I'm looking to do something very similar. So it's just kind of like, hey, what are your odds, given the shot qualities that we got, that you actually won the game? And so the model fits pretty good. If you look at the bottom left there, you can see like kind of a squiggly thing. The first two data points only have 18 games, and the third one has something like 30. So the first two have moved around a lot as one game will be played or two games will be played, and so that might need a little bit more. I'm also assuming that it's a line. It might not. It might be like a log. Like after a certain point, shot quality doesn't really matter and stuff. There's always a slight chance of an upset, or it might be the same thing for the bottom. What I'm happy to tell you is it has a home team like advantage built in,
Really?
and has found this. So right now it's saying it's about a 62.5% chance that a home team wins, given that their shot quality, which takes the values, like I said, like that shot quality 2 is worth 3 of 1 and all of that. So it takes like the chances of it actually going in, and it says that 62.5% plus or minus about 2%. The home team should win, given that shot quality is equal that value, like by weighting.
I've absolutely loved these. I love the charts. I love the stats on it. I've been dabbling a little bit into the tactics of FHM10, and this will definitely help. I know on the Discord, I think it was today you were talking about. Now you're able to see who the shooters were in the shootout because of the shots being put on there.
Oh, because shot quality. So there's another error in this data that I haven't been able to remove. Is I found that my shot quality numbers, if I summed them all, because like you got a data check, didn't match the shot attempts basically. And I was like, what's going on? So I asked, and Luke responded and was like, hey, I noticed it too. I'm not really sure. It gave me some things to look at and stuff. He's like, looked here and did this stuff, and it was really helpful. And then next day I kind of poked in there and I was like, what if I just isolate these games? And then I saw shootout 1 in my data. That means that the shootout has happened, and it was for all of them. And so then I did the reverse and went and said, hey, what if I strip out all the shootout games from my data? What's that table look like? And they were all good. I literally had good set up when it matched, because I was like, I need something that I can key on. And so it's doing that. So in the future, it's possible now. I don't know what the priority is for the team. I'm not part of it, the dev team. But it should be able to see who shot in the shootout, and how and that's about it. Unfortunately, there's not much else, because it doesn't register if you scored. It just tells you if your team won. I think there's only one instance where you'll know, and I think that's if a team that goes first scores twice, and the other team doesn't score at all. There won't be a third round for either team.
That would make sense.
And then, like, you're talking like such a small subset of a subset. worthless.
You're doing a lot of homework on that point. I wish there was a way to get the shootout results in there, because like looking back on, I think there was it was an earlier game this year for Anchorage in a shootout, and I can't remember if it was regular season or preseason. I want to say it was preseason, and I think that it went to 16 rounds in the shootout, because I went back and watched, and the Simmers just kept on scrolling, and that list was just going all the way down. And that would be something that I'd love to see on the box score, because it's like, okay, who all missed? Am I one of those that missed? and how are we going to talk about this?
Shot quality is, and this is so new that we discovered this, that we don't even know if all shootout shots are the same shot quality. Your shooter might just decide to like wrist it from between the face-off dots, which is a shot quality 2, or do a deke, which is a shot quality 3.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. I haven't dug into the data. I got to isolate it all and figure out a bunch of stuff if I can.
You said that, and it brought up a question in my head. I know the shot quality. So like if you take a shot quality 4 and it's blocked, or shot quality 1 and it's blocked, it drops down to a shot quality 0. Is it only the block shots that are calculated for that? And maybe like you said, if it's a shootout, in that, and you wrist it over the net or into the boards, does that lower the shot quality, or does it just stay the same?
As far as I know, and according to the post that Luke made before we moved to FHM 10, it's only block shots.
It's only block shots. That's what I was thinking. I think it would be hard for the sim engine to kind of predict those types of shots. I mean, you can see in the live sim games the puck going over the net. Like I've seen that happen a couple times, but I don't think I've seen anything where the puck goes out of play as much. There was a question for you. Kari said that they had a very serious question for you.
Oh no.
And it was, did you purposely wear a red shirt for Detroit?
Oh yes, 100%. I was like, oh, I better do this. I got the background all set up. Found the image of the Detroit locker room. I don't even know who did it, but props to them. It's amazing. And I got to do it
like
because
that.
there's a St. Louis GM on the podcast, so we definitely trounced them. The away game was a surprise.
1-1.
I can tell you that I put the numbers in, and it was about a 70% chance for you. Is what it should have been. So we got lucky according to my model. It was a 3 and 10. So
I know the game that we beat St. Louis, they outshot us by a lot. So I imagine that was a very high percent for St. Louis to win that game, and we somehow did it.
When you're looking at the game on the index, you'll see a strip of numbers. Send that to me, and I can I'll find it on the list, and I can give you the home win percentage for you.
Okay. All right. We'll do. And then Kari did say that they like the matching vibes. And communist data says Toaster in deep thought. Toaster was just taking it in. And then
I haven't looked into much of this stuff at all, so I'm just soaking in all the information.
Like I think it's kind of intimidating at first. I know I was when I first joined the awards committee, and I think Toaster took my spot after my 2 seasons there. But starting small, doing small things first is really important. And I do want to do a podcast walkthrough of like the really basic stuff so that people can get started, because I think there's a lot of people that want to do it that don't know how to do it. And that's kind of a sad thing. I think I want the league will be better with more people being able to do more analysis like this. I am I do stats courses, but I'm a computer science student, and I'm not good at stats courses. I like it, but I'm not good at it. So there's definitely problems with my data, and I find it every day, every time I look. So, yeah.
I honestly love the breakdowns. I absolutely appreciate. I don't want you hopping off yet. We still have about 10 minutes left, so I kind of want you to hop around, stay on as well. G Ham says, shout out to Ethan Cross and Jumbros Childers who fought this week and both lost the fight. Kari said, best fight of the season. And I imagine it was one of those fights where they just hugged and danced it out rather than throw punches. You were wanting the game.
I want the game ID because that stuff is fun because, again, stats. Like, it shouldn't happen, but I didn't know it could happen. Like, give me the game ID. I believe you.
Well, and I like I said, I absolutely love what you do. I love this. I love the data. Anytime you have data like this, absolutely reach out to me. I want to get you on the show because I think as you get into this league, because you're in your third season, correct?
Fourth
season.
Yeah, you guys introduced me as this really experienced guy, and I'm like, I've only been here like 2 more seasons than you.
But I mean, I say that because I feel like that first season you get so, in my opinion, and Toaster, if this was how it was for you, I don't know, but I feel like you get so wrapped up into your own team that first season.
Mm-hmm.
Following the box scores, watching those games, and then what I loved about getting this gig is that now I enjoy looking at all the J games. And it couldn't have come at a better time because it's a rough season in Anchorage. I knew it was going to be a rough season. I was prepared for the rough season. So this is giving me something else to go, okay, now I can actually watch all these other teams going and pull a lot of stuff from it. And just to be able to go through and pull this data and get this, it makes it so much more enjoyable on it.
Yeah, the first season, there's the whole league you have to take in. So instead of taking it in, you just focus on your lowly team and block everything else out. At least that's what I did.
So I'm gonna stop sharing that. If you're okay, Cammy, if anybody wants this, are you okay with me sending it to them?
Of course. It's just the charts and stuff. They will change as the season goes on, and like I said, I'm going to post updated ones at the end of the season, anyways. I have seen shot quality 3 and 4, especially 4, because actually, I have a little bit more because I forgot to talk about something. Shot quality attempts for the away team in general are of higher quality than home teams.
Really?
Yeah, and that's counterintuitive to a home team advantage, right?
Yeah.
So the shot percentages I've given you are likely divergent. So home teams are higher and away teams are lower. So that's a really interesting thing that I was not expecting in my data. I just did it just to be sure because I expected them to be the same. But yeah, it seems like if you're shooting at home, you have a higher shot percentage just in general.
So I'm gonna brag about my shirt. I was listening to you, but then I saw this comment. So this is one of my favorite shirts because my kids love it. It actually has Stitch from Lilo and Stitch in each of the flowers doing something. So it's like it's blended in there really well. I'd have to get really close to the camera for you to see it, but this is like one of my favorite shirts to wear. And my daughter is just now getting into Stitch. So like when she saw me today, she was looking at me and she goes, "Is that Stitch on your shirt?" I went, "Yeah."
Perfect timing for the new movie coming out soon.
Just off topic, sorry, but I saw that pop up. Figured I'd talk about it. Kari said that you make them feel stupid. You are not.
I'm just as stupid. I have done so many errors with this data and doing it yesterday I accidentally deleted it all trying to update for the show and then spent like an hour rewriting my little script that got from the API and then I'm not smart.
And I will also kind of say this again. The fact that, and I've seen this out of a lot of people that work on these award committees, the amount of stuff and digging that you guys do there, I just want to say kudos because I love how down you guys get into the stats and into looking at it. That's great for the league. It's not just, hey, let's look at numbers and that be it. Let's dig down into that. So
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my time there. It was really where I started to learn all of this stuff.
It's the sub.
it now, as soon as Kari said that, it now looks like it's egg and bacon to me. Like
Yeah.
it immediately turned into
I can
eggs and
I can see it.
bacon on a plate.
Oh my god.
It's supposed to be a sub.
Yeah, people need to stop making comments about our background. All right, so one of the things that I did first week, I didn't get to do it last week because we had a lot of stuff going on. And since you're on here, you've been here for 4 seasons, I'm going to ask you, what is one of your favorite tips or tricks on the website that when you tell people about it, you're surprised that they don't know about it?
It's pretty easy to download the CSV files, the stuff that's like allows you to do really basic stat stuff. So if you go to the portal and you go into the search thing, there's a download button, and it downloads a CSV file, and you can just upload it to Google Sheets. It populates all the data for you, and you can start working there. It's not hard to do. It's not crazy. There's also one for the index if you're looking for more, not like attributes and like creation dates and like training activities. You're looking more like goals, assists, plus minus, all that fun stuff. It's a lot easier to go and just do it that way. And you just grab it from the index because you can go to a team and get all the team. There's also, if you go to the teams on the J or on the SHL, and then you go to, there's a button called Team Stats. And that will give you all the stats of like shots per game and stuff.
So we'll go to the first one that you said. So
yeah, go to the player portal. Let's go. I'm excited now.
Did it not?
Probably popped a new
That's
tab.
one thing I'd wish I learned my rookie season earlier than I did. Because in St. Louis, we have a player of the week. And the first week we did it, I was like manually transferring all the numbers and then doing the math. And then the second week, I was like, oh, I can just import all this. That's so much faster.
So yeah, Patrick's highlighted the CSV download thing. And so that just downloads a lot of like the actual update stuff, the TPE stuff. Really cool. And then if you go to the index, so the index holds all the actual season stats and previous history. So, and then if you go into teams, you can go to team stats now, and then there's another button, download the team CSV, and you can start doing analysis on like what team should have been doing better because they had a better goals per game, for example, and got shafted or were scoring in bunches. This is where you would start. You download that, find a cool stat in there, and work with it.
Now, question on that, Toaster, you're talking about your player of the week. Are you able to break it up and compare it from this week versus last week?
I don't think there's a way to go back in time. We've just been downloading it every Friday after the last sim to get that week's stats and then subtracting it from what we get the next week.
Kari, I hope it was worth being awake for. I feel like this has been a great show. Cammy is definitely carrying us on it, though. West Kendall and New England, by the way, for the trivia. No.
Kari got it already.
Kari already got it. It was Vancouver. Now, I will say that it may be possible that other season, I went through, I got up to season 50 before I had to quit. And there was only 2 times from season 1 to season 50 that me and Toaster would have been drafted on the same team. Now, a lot of those reasons was because of some of those earlier seasons, the draft only went up to 30. I didn't make the cut. so I would have been a free agent. I wasn't going to go through all those arguments. But in season 20, Vancouver picked 2nd and Vancouver picked 45th in that draft. And that was the answer. Now, I don't know if Kari saw that I put the answer on the screen because my rush brain had me copy and pasting the whole question with the answer attached.
Cake in our locker room was like, I have a very educated guess because I already saw the answer.
And Toaster notified me really quick that it was scrolling. So it happens. So let's wrap this up with our last segment. Cammy, did you participate in season cup?
I did. I'm not doing well. Whoever picks Kelowna seems to be winning. I was looking through all the groups and seems to be the deciding factor right now.
I
Yep,
don't
so we
know
le-
after the last 2 days, but I promise you're doing better than I was.
Toaster, you were sitting at 1 last week, weren't you?
I was sitting at 0. I was the only user of 96 with 0 until yesterday,
Ugh.
actually. And then I got my first 4 points. So
So we left off on 12-13, and Great Falls had it. They gave it right back to Kelowna, who then gave it to Colorado, and this was the first time that Colorado actually touched the in-season cup. I immediately posted that in the game sim that was going on, and then Ottawa, after 3 games of from the 31st, 11 days of having it. They went from 0 days with the cup to 11 days. To give you an idea of how drastic that was, they moved from last place in the cup to 3rd in the cup on having it. Then Ottawa gave it right back to Kelowna. Kelowna kept it for 3 days and gave it to Detroit. And Detroit was able to have it for 3 more days on addition of their 6 days earlier in the season. And then ended up losing it to Nevada, who Nevada finally was able to touch the in-season cup. And they had it for 4 days before losing to San Diego, who kept it for 2 days before losing it back to Kelowna. So the leaderboard with the teams with the cup, I'm going to do top 3. Kelowna has had it for 34 days. Great Falls has had it for 13 days. Ottawa has had it for 11 days, coming in a very close 4th, Detroit with 9. Teams that still have not touched the cup is dribbled down to 4. You have St. Louis. It's the only thing not going right for you guys this season is that you haven't touched the in-season cup.
we'll get there.
Thunder Bay hasn't touched it. Surprisingly, Vancouver has not touched it, and Maine has not touched it. I was looking at it earlier today before leaving the house.
That's 3 of the top 7 teams that haven't touched the cup yet.
Yep. There was some high scores. I'm going to scroll through real quick to see if they've gotten higher. Surreal's sitting in his group with 53 points. Captain Camel's sitting with 53 points in their group.
Responding to James's comment, yes, there are people surprisingly doing worse than me now. There is a couple with 1 and 3 points.
Leafs FTW 1967. We talked about him last week. I think he was at 40 points. They are now at 63 points.
Running away with it.
And just kind of scrolling through other ones as I go.
01 has 61 points.
That's a good one too. If you're seeing them too, just shout them out. I'm just kind of scrolling through them as fast as I can on this. Yep. So Leafs is still just absolutely hammering it right now with his total or with their total. 63 seems to be the highest that we've had. So we are over that hour mark. I'm going to go ahead and get us back to a 3-person screen. Stop this share. So before we wrap up, I am going to... All right, so as it stands now, do you guys have any absolutely wild off-the-wall predictions for the last week of the regular season?
St. Louis is going undefeated. Just kidding. Probably not. Anchorage will beat us one more time.
You think Anchorage will beat you one more time?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that Anchorage will come in. I'm gonna say Anchorage is gonna come in with an over 550 point percentage this coming week in the sim to finish out strong.
Thunder Bay will be in the power rankings next week.
How many home games do they got?
Oh, let's look.
Uh,
Let's look.
That's the best. Honestly, it's the best predictor about how well a team's going to do. Detroit's going to have a good finish of the season. I think we got like 11 home games and 5 away games. So we're going to be strong down the stretch. I think Maine's going to drop a few places. They're away.
66 games, right, in the season.
So it's 33 home and 33 away. So St. Louis, you got 10 and 10 and 9. So you'll be okay.
Even split.
Thunder Bay has already played 22 away games, so they'll have 11 more. They've played 26 home games, so they're not have more away games this week.
I'd like to retract my previous statement.
Nevada should drop as well. I think they only got 24 and they got 16, so they have 9. So yeah, Nevada should be in tough this week.
Yeah, we have Anchorage has more away games than they will have home games this week as well. Let me ask you this. This will be the wrap up. So last season on the goal differential, it was really easy to see the difference in the standings. Pretty much the top half from 8 up had a positive goal differential. 8 down had a negative goal differential. The weird thing about this season has been Detroit. They have unfortunately been at the bottom of the standings, but they have kept a positive goal differential this whole season. Any of your data point to why?
Right. I haven't looked into teams that much, whether they're over or underperforming. That's another thing I want to look at. My guess is Detroit is just losing those closer coin flips. So the prediction model says, hey, you got the 55 or it's an even game at home. It's a 60% chance for Detroit to win. 40% chance still happens a lot. And it just can happen this way that a team will do this. Like Ottawa, is another team. It's not plus, but also it's sandwiched between a -18 and a -45, right? So what is San Diego doing, or what is Newfoundland doing that's better, or whatever? So yeah, sometimes just the coin flips go. It is a sim engine. There's random events. Every event is unique. So yeah, it's what it is. And Detroit has played a lot of away games. So hopefully down the stretch, big final push for us this week, and you'll see us up there fighting for that. What could we possibly fight for? Maybe for the 10th spot would be nice.
Well, because playoffs are based on conference, correct? I thought that's how they were last.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, you guys are still in a decent position to get into that 4th, 5th battle with San Diego. And that's a better place to be than 6. That the 4th, 5th is going to be more of a coin flip.
If getting to the 4th position is the most important. Again, securing home team advantage for the first round would really help out with that.
Yep.
Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for being patient with me with the delays. I really appreciate both of you guys. Toaster, do you have any final thoughts, final questions?
One thing I was thinking about while you were talking, Cammy, do screens affect shot quality at all, or is it just where the shot's taken from?
Screen isn't in the shot quality calculation. I can't say how it affects the actual shot chance of going in at all. But for shot quality, it doesn't matter.
So that's a good question, though.
Yeah, I thought deflections would be a thing too, but
I'd like to see deflections going in there. I think that would be a really good. I mean, because not to drag it out even longer, but I know. I've been told by several people screening stat doesn't matter as much as they make it out to be, and the deflections would play into that. So I'd like to see that added a little bit more. But it's another debate for another show.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the data. Everybody, thank you for watching tonight. Really appreciate you. Appreciate the comments. Kari, I'll get you the pack money. Good night, SHL. We love you.